I'm going to use the word elite and special program that we'll all be journeying on together for the next 5 months, for the next 4 or 5 months. You'll be hearing least from me. By the way, if you guys don't know me, my name is Deborah. I'm the rabbi's wife. That's the rabbi.
I would like to change that introduction, but all right.
Okay.
She is Deborah.
Before I pass the mic over to our wonderful leader of the Solomon program, I will tell you that this has been a bit of a journey till we got here. How many years old is the Solomon program? 7. So we are lucky enough to have in our audience the absolute director of the International Solomon Program, Sarah Dworkin, who's right behind us, right behind Dr. Zed. And thank you for being with us, Sarah. We're so happy to have you. So it's been quite a journey. When they first started and we were introduced to it, it was right for us. It was right before COVID, and we said, "Oh yes, we want to do it. We want to do it." Launched into it, did what we had to do, signed the contract, and then COVID hit. Everybody shut down for a good 2 years. We tried to start it up again last year. Got the balls rolling, everything rolling, and then it kind of fell apart again every time there was an Omicron and something else new that showed up. So we're back though. We're back and we have an amazing few months in store. I truly believe that this will be a journey for our mentors, for our students, for our speakers, for the parents, for the family, and eventually for the community at large and for society. This will be impactful for all of us. I'm going to give it over to Jesse. Jesse has taken on the lead role as our director for the program for this year and hopefully many years to come. So you know that most of you have been in contact with Jesse, you've been answering back and forth with Jesse. Only contact me if there's a problem. Only get back to me and Rabbi, no. Otherwise, you are in amazing hands, and Jesse will lead us through the night and through this amazing, amazing adventure. But on behalf of the Downtown Jewish Center and on behalf of me and Rabbi, we welcome you to the Solomon Leadership Program. We are so excited to be launching this, the first in Fort Lauderdale, and we are honored to be hosting it in our shul. So welcome. Yeah.
All right, new to our home, to our community. I've been talking to a lot of you, and it's so nice to finally see faces. This is very, very exciting for us. And as Deborah said, any questions, anything that you guys need, I am here to assist you with a smile every single day. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I say that to parents, to you mentors, and to you fellows. I'm here to assist you. It's my job, but also it's also my passion. I fell in love with this program, with this curriculum, and I hope that you do too. So let's start. We have a great night ahead. So I'm going to start us ahead with what is the mission of the Solomon program. So the Solomon Leadership Program was established to teach and instill the traits, skills, and values of how to learn how to really be a true and successful leader. So we are here to teach you, the teens of today, the leaders of tomorrow, what it truly means to be a just, a moral, and a true leader. We congratulate you guys because you have been accepted to this amazing program, and we know that you are committed, as well as we are all very committed to you, to your leadership skills, and just to your development as a human being. So congratulations for being here. And we know that we are committed to you and you are committed to the program, so this is going to be just an awesome, awesome journey. So our program is based on a three-pronged approach, which means we have an individual mentor guidance that I will introduce our amazing mentors in a second. Then we have also renowned guest speakers and an in-depth curated curriculum. If you go to your binders, you don't have to do it now, you'll see that you each have like a very thick book. Well, that's the curated curriculum. I encourage you and also the parents to check it out, to see how beautiful it is done, and to really understand what the journey is. I will explain to you a little bit, but that's going to be your guide towards the entire program. So just be friends with your book, be friends with your binder, and just keep it close to you so you can really enjoy this experience, okay? So, our guest speakers. Our guest speakers will be leaders from the Fort Lauderdale community. So at the beginning of each session, we're going to have an amazing guest speaker that will be talking to us about their personal journey and their connection to the specific pillar that we'll be talking on that specific session. It's a great opportunity for you guys to meet amazing leaders that have devoted their time to just come here and talk to you from the heart, from their personal experience. So we just have to be ready and open to ask them questions and to take advantage and to take a little bit of their knowledge that they're going to give us. All right.
By the way, she's Latin, which is why she speaks a lot with her hands. Latin
She's
Jewish.
also Jewish.
Right, Latin Jewish, which adds the full-on gamut of...
Right. I would be dancing, but this is a professional setting, so I have to keep my, Alright, so the program is based on 8 sessions, as some of you might know, plus this one that is the meet and greet, and the last one that will be graduation. So, we're going to start our journey with character, which is really to get to know who you really are. It's a great opportunity, and we'll go in depth on that. Then we're going to move on, and also tolerance. Then we're going to move on to actually talking about your interpersonal skills that involves communication. And then our journey will continue into learning and understanding what motivates you as a leader and what motivates you to motivate everyone around you, because that's truly what a leader does. So that involves vision, empowerment, persistence, strategy, and at the end we're going to talk about judgment, which is such an important pillar for any leader to have. You'll understand why more in depth later. And this is how our curriculum looks like. Again, you have it all in the binder, so now just enjoy the presentation and then you'll look at it more in depth later. So, our whole program is based on the Socratic method. So the whole idea is you guys get to really ask questions and have like a deeper relationship with issues that maybe in the past you didn't have before. This is why we take some time with the homework to really enjoy, to really see what's going on. How does this topic relate to me personally, to my community, to my family, and to my specific history? That is what it's all about. You learn a little bit more later, and it's super interesting because the whole idea is that you get to really stimulate your thinking, and you get to ask questions, and you get to be open to really learn all the time. And as I was saying, after the 8 sessions, you're gonna check, well, let me back up. We have a calendar card in our binders that I suggest all of you look at it closely. And you're gonna see that we have a date for final project that is on the day of graduation. That's gonna happen a month after the final session, which is judgment. In this final project day, that is actually graduation day, we're gonna have you guys do an essay and also a visual presentation on what did you learn in this entire program? How did it affect you? What did you grasp of the 8 pillars? What did it spark on you? It's going to be super, super interesting, and I am really excited when you guys are here and I can be actually just sitting there enjoying my time after this, all this work. It's important for us to mention that after you're done with this program, you'll earn 3 college credits, which is super interesting. And just to clarify so there's no confusion, we are partnered with Palm Beach Atlantic University, but your credits are transferable to any college university. So just so you know, and that's like the actual accreditation, so there's no mistakes. If you have questions, please feel free to ask.
Can I interject for a second? For those of you who think 3 college credits are not a lot, wait, let me just tell you. I'm in the middle of finishing my degree at 46 years old, and all I needed was 3 credits. That's all I needed left. And I am sitting through virtual college classes at this stage in my life to finish 3 more credits. Had this solid program, I would have had those 3 credits. And I'm like, seriously? seriously, and I have to do a visual presentation tonight before I leave, and I have to get on discussion boards, and I'm writing essays, and APA formatting, and I'm like, no, I'm 46. But, just saying, those 3 college credits come very handy.
Right. Now I'm going to go a little bit deep into the homework policy. This is super important. You also have this in your binder, so don't worry. But it's important for you to know that the fellows that do not complete the homework on time will not be able to attend this session. I'm going to explain a little bit why so you guys really understand. The real reasoning is because we want you guys to really feel comfortable with the topic that we're going to talk with your mentors and also with the guest speaker, and you guys are going to feel more comfortable, more secure. You're going to have more questions to ask if you already prepared beforehand. So that's the real reason, and it's super important that you also take your time with the homework. You're going to see why, because the whole idea is that this doesn't feel like, oh, this is so annoying. No, this is a great opportunity for you guys to sparkle your curiosity inside. Also important, fellow who misses 2 sessions for excused or unexcused absences will be asked to be dismissed from the program just because at this point you missed too much of the content, and it's important for us that this journey is complete and that you really get all the skills and the traits that you need. Super important, and that's why this is involved. The full training breakdown is in the fellow guide. So I encourage not only the fellows but also the parents to take a look at it so there is just clarity on how we're grading so that there's no surprises at the end. Again, if you have any questions, I'm here, but just feel comfortable with the system and just don't let this be a barrier. Just be informed, right? Alright, so in terms of when the homework needs to be submitted. It needs to be submitted 1 week prior to the session. What does this mean? Our next session, which is the first one, is character. Character is on December 15th. So the homework is due 1 week from today, which is December 7th. My advice for you, because I know that you are all very busy students, is that you put on the calendar not only the dates when homework is due, when the sessions are here, but also maybe put some spaces for you to work on this homework, so you're not the day prior just cramping up and trying to finish all the homework. It is not an enjoyable experience that way, and also we can feel that in the way you write, in the way you reply, because you're more stressed about the timing and not enjoying the process of what the homework really is, and reading all the articles and really gaining all the knowledge. So just take some time throughout the week to really do the homework little by little, and also maybe make it as an experience, right? This will really help you and you will enjoy it way more.
Is it due on Wednesday or Thursday?
I said to Wednesday.
Wednesday is the 7th.
Okay.
Thursday.
That's my
Thursday.
mistake.
Okay.
It's my mistake, not my mistake.
So that's the.
Yeah.
The 8th, I could have put it as the 8th.
The 8th. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the dress code. So as you can see, it's business casual. I already told all of you, let's just give you a reminder, no denim. School uniforms are allowed. And you can see here a little bit of how girls should dress and how boys should dress. Again, this is all written down just as a reminder. And this is also will make you feel way more professional. Like the real reason I'm wearing a suit right now is because I feel professional and it's awesome. So we can all do that together, and I assure you, a leader feels it. It's nice. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and see a little bit about the conduct here. So, in terms of conduct, when our guest speaker is here, and when you have the option to talk with the mentors, which is gonna be in every session, it's important that you open your binder, that you guys are ready to ask questions, to take notes. Believe me that you're gonna be in awe of all the amazing and very inspirational things that the mentors and the guest speakers are gonna say. And we think, I wanna remember. We don't. So we wanna write down certain things, or wow, it really resonated with me. Just be ready and write it down. I'm gonna encourage you every single time to put your phone on silent or on airplane mode. This is not only to avoid distractions, it's also a way to be more present in the space. If we all put our phones away, this means that our full attention is here and we show respect. And some points to remember, be punctual. Everyone was so so punctual today, so very good job, everyone was great. Yes, let's keep it like that, and we want to respect your time and our time as well, so let's just keep it like that. That was great. You already know about the dress code. Be respectful of your mentor's time, of course. Be open-minded, that's a big one. Learn from your peers. Come prepared. And, as I said before, bring your thoughts, insights, and ideas. Oh, and refer to the fellow handbook, which I've mentioned like 100 times. So your handbook is your best friend, so keep it up. Now, I'm gonna pass the mic to Devorah, and she's gonna introduce our amazing mentors. So,
Thank you, Jesse.
Not specifically going in age order. Oh, does it have to be in age order? Oh, not, it has to be, I can't fix this up. Oh, sorry, okay. Okay, fine. After I introduce them, do they then come up and get their introduction? Okay. All right, so before I read the bio, which is written in the book, I just want to share something personal about each of the mentors that I would say we've chosen, but I think they've chosen us, in truth. So the first mentor I would like to introduce is the Honorable Judge Sherry Afric Olafson. Sherry, just take a my husband and I, when we moved to Fort Lauderdale 24 years ago, your parents, I think, were one of the first people we met. Yeah. And by virtue of that, we met you, and we met Pam, and your beautiful kids, who your daughter loves to remind me that she dropped out of that swing. But who we are so lucky to have teaching in our preschool right now. And I just, you know, to us, your family were our friends. Like you said, we don't often come to services, and this is not always where you'll come to services, but we've maintained an amazing relationship. They are of the finest families, the original Fort Lauderdale Jews going back way before me and Rabbi came. One of the first ones here was, oh, there's no Jews on the aisles. And we were like, oh, we met the Olafsons. They're here, and they've been here for way longer than us. So we have an amazing personal relationship with them, and a beautiful friendship, and all the kids and all the cousins and extended family have been part of our family over the many years. So it just happens to be that she's also a judge. I'd like to say the personal relationships for us, I think, really enhance the accolades and the degrees and everything else you have, which for sure are amazing, but that definitely makes it personal.
That's the most important.
Maybe I don't want to take away, all your family, I don't want to take away from your successes and your accomplishments in your life. It's interesting because Michael sent us a bio that was 2 lines. My wife, my kids, my grandchildren. I said, Michael, that's not impressive. He's like, for a lot of people, that's very impressive. I said, fine, you're out. I made him rewrite it. He wasn't so happy. So I said, just for the prestige of the program, Michael, throw everything else in. So, you know, one doesn't take away from the other. I think they harmonize each other. Definitely a cherry on top. So, Sherry Afric Olafson was elected to serve Broward County residents as a circuit court judge for the 17th Judicial Court in August 2018. On the bench, Judge Afric Olafson has worked hard to improve child welfare in Broward County in numerous ways, with a strong focus on improving court-facilitated placements and outcomes. Prior to that, Judge Afric Olafson served as the executive director of the Carnegie Group, a think tank based in Florida, Washington, D.C., and New York, where she convened and led cross-sector experts in housing, finance, healthcare, and pay equity. So this is kind of like a think tank, guys. For over a decade, she served as president and CEO of a Fortune 300 title insurance joint venture. Judge Patrick Olson is the author of 2 books, Foreclosure Nation, Mortgaging the American Dream, and Financial Fresh Start, Your 5-Step Plan for Navigating the Recovery. And Your 5-Step Plan for Navigating the Recovery. Judge Patrick Olson also contributed to a variety of publications for the legal community. During the 2008 real estate and economic crisis, she was relied upon as a respected subject matter expert, appearing on major news networks. And she was very good. I watched it. I watched a lot of the clips. Judge Patrick Olson helped pioneer the Collins Center for Mediation, applying her experience as a certified mediator to help save thousands of homes. As members of our community for almost 50 years, Judge Patrick Olson and her family have passionately supported child welfare, the arts, environment, and marine life, affordable housing, Israel and Jewish organizations, human rights, and equality. Judge Patrick Olson earned bachelor's degrees in psychology and journalism from Carnegie Mellon University, a Juris Doctorate degree from the Benjamin Cardozo School of Law at Yeshiva University of New York City, an LLM in Finance Development, Real Property and Land Uses from the University of Miami, a master's degree in psychology with an emphasis in neurology from Nova Southeastern University, and a doctorate in education leadership from New York University. Wow. I thought I was a perpetual student. I have so much to catch up on. So, Carrie, please come up and share a few words.
Laura,
You want me to move this back?
no, put the computer down.
Put the computer down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's really not much more to say. I don't know how anything could be more interesting than that, right? I'm really happy to be here and really looking forward to building some relationships with you all. I don't think there's anything that's more important in this world, especially the way it is today, than leadership. And I don't think there's anything that we need more in the coming years, not only in our own community, in our state, in our country, but in the broader global community than qualified leaders. So I am just thrilled to be a part of this and really look forward to sharing my experiences, hearing your thoughts on leadership, and really helping you all to develop better understanding of your authentic selves and your authentic and truthful feelings about all of these pillars. Because at the end of the day, not only does that resonate with all of our experience with leaders, but the research all shows that the best leaders are the most truthful, honest, self-reflective, introspective, and authentic people. So I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you for doing it.
Okay. Should I press next? Mr. Michael Heiger. What can I say? So, definitely a relationship with the Heigers. Not 24 years, but I don't know, a very long time.
Feels like it's been for a lifetime.
It feels like
In a good way.
in a good way.
Yes.
It feels like a lifetime. You know, there are those people you meet and you have an automatic connection with. I mean, a lot of people. They say, who are you? I think they say your closest friends are up to 200 people. Is that right? That's the number they give, right? 200. So, Michael, you fit definitely in the top 40s. Your top 10s. So, Michael is also a family friend, not just a congregant, not just a member of the community. We've become very close with you and your wife, Bobby. I think the first meal you had with us was in our sukkah and it rained. And it was quite an adventure. And all of a sudden, we're all outside in the sukkah and it's pouring rain. And his wife was like, no problem, helping and doing everything. I was like, hey, she's a keeper. No sweat, no nothing. She was wiping down tables. I was like, friends forever. We are lucky enough to have 2 of your grandchildren in our preschool who we love and adore, and on their life journey with them. I have learned so much from you. And really that was a reason why I felt like, you know, it wasn't my own, I wasn't the only choice maker, but why I said I feel like Michael Heiger would be an amazing mentor. You know, I think my daughter's in the program too, so I had to pick and choose who just when you find somebody that you can learn so much from in such an array of topics in life, you want to keep them close, and you want to keep them around the people you love, and you want them to have an influence over the people that are important to you. So as a friend, as a community member, as a colleague, as a grandpa of a kid in our preschool.
Kids.
We call him Michael Hager. I didn't think you heard her. Sit back down. Sorry. This is, yeah, and I made him rewrite it, so now I have to read it. Okay, sorry. This is very important. Michael J. Heiger is a partner with Berger Singerman, which has offices throughout Florida. He is a past president of the Florida Bar, where he is most proud of establishing a wellness program which focuses on the mental health of lawyers. He also served as a chair of the business law section of the Florida Bar, which named him its outstanding member. He is widely regarded as one of the architects of the business courts that have been established throughout Florida. During his nearly 40-year career, Michael has represented clients before the state and federal trial courts and appellate courts, the Supreme Court of Florida, and the Supreme Court of the United States. His clients have included the Beatles, entrepreneurs and businesses, professional athletes, global financial institutions, and small business owners and individuals. Michael currently serves on Florida's Judicial Qualifications Commission, which oversees the discipline of judges, so you better behave. He is an arbitrator on the American Arbitration Association's national roster. Can they make these things any longer? Because they just have given me the little acronym. He is recognized as a leading lawyer by Best Lawyers in America and Chambers USA, the latter of which recognized him for his singular representation of insureds against their insurance company. You know, if I got people's resumes before I met them, I probably wouldn't be friends with half the people. Because you'd be like, what am I going to say? Michael has served as legal advisor to several synagogues and their rabbis. He is a champion of providing free legal services to the needy. During his year as president, the Florida Bar established an online legal services portal which facilitates the connection between lawyers and individuals who would otherwise be unable to find a lawyer or afford one. Michael has served as legal advisor to several synagogues and their rabbis. He is a champion of providing free legal services to the needy. During his year as president, the Florida Bar established an online legal services portal which facilitates the connection between lawyers and individuals who would otherwise be unable to find a lawyer or afford one. Most important to Michael is his family. He has been married to his wife Bobby for 40 years and is the proud father of Samantha and Adam and grandfather of Jackson, Noah, and Madison. So without further ado, Michael.
With your permission, I had COVID earlier in the week. I tested negative, so hopefully, if anyone's concerned, I'll put it back on, but I should be fine at this point. So, thank you, Deborah. Thank you, the Rabbi. Thank you, Jesse. You know, for me, it's just a great honor to be here, to be asked. It's really hard to ever say no to Deborah. I think maybe I talked, so I might be a minute or two longer than you were at your time. I remember the very first time that I met Deborah and the Rabbi. The Rabbi, you know, not to dredge up perhaps slightly unhappy memories, but actually I had just joined Berger Singerman meeting about a year prior to meeting the Rabbi and learned that my law firm, or the law firm that I was at, had been adverse to the Rabbi. So that very first discussion was, you know, you're kind of playing that kind of tic-tac-toe, that bingo, trying to get to know each other. You know, I know this one, you know that one, etc. I'm like, oops, you know, maybe it's not a good conversation, trying to figure out and try to navigate around that. Look, in terms of just saying something personal to you beyond the resume, as Deborah said, really, the most important thing to me is family. But we're here, right, to talk about leadership. And leadership, of course, is important in the family setting as well. We should talk about that conversation as well. But for me, right, you know, the first leader, the first person who taught me leadership was my dad of Westminster. And leadership happens in a lot of ways. Sometimes the leader is out there in front, and the leader can be quite enthusiastic and can be, you know, that person, you know, who you just are drawn to. It's a magnetic kind of person, and they're just up here. And sometimes leaders lead from the back of the room and do it in a quiet way. And sometimes leaders are the most unassuming people, and that was my dad. My dad, at a very early age, had cancer in his throat, and at that time, what's now something that's very treatable, at that time not so treatable, and so what they did is they completely took out his larynx, his whole throat mechanism, and so he barely talked about a whisper. And as I said in my speech years ago when I became president of the bar, that even though my dad spoke just in a whisper, to me and my two siblings, my brother and sister, that was never the case. I mean, we thought like he could scream. And in fact, when I told my wife, took my wife then to be my wife, to meet my family, I never told her that my dad barely spoke a whisper. And she said, all the things not to tell me, that was kind of shocking. But he had a commanding way about him. And what I didn't learn until much after I became a lawyer was that my dad had always wanted to be a lawyer. And so in some ways, even though he never pushed me in that direction, somehow he channeled me in that direction. And it was quiet conversations at our kitchen table in a house that was smaller than this room. So every conversation that was had in that house was not an intimate conversation. Everybody knew about it. Well, my dad, who was not a lawyer, instead became a scientist, and I think the world was a much better place for the fact that my dad became a scientist and worked for the government in that capacity than a lawyer. But he was a counselor to his rabbi, to his shul, to the neighbors, to many, many wealthy individuals who took his counsel around the table. And even though he never in any way said, hey son, hey Michael, watch this, watch what's going on, from the room I could see my dad leading in those conversations. And I know today, I've known for many years, that must have resonated with me and led me to the path that I took. So I look forward to sharing with all of you my thoughts in terms of leadership and helping you along your path. And I guess I just want to end with, there's no one way to leadership. There's no unique way. There's many ways to do so. And when you find what is your why, what is that resonates with you in terms of your path, then you'll be on your way, and you will fit within every one of those points that I'm sure we're going to learn along the way. So thank you again to all of you for letting me join you.
So something just occurred to me to share before I introduce the next mentor. When you read through resumes like this, right, and you're like astounded, what do they not have on their list, or what did they not accomplish, and then you say, wow, they're volunteering their time for 10 kids that they don't know. They didn't read over your resumes. They didn't interview you. They didn't say, well, I don't think that one's really going to end up like anything, so we're not taking that one. They didn't. They didn't. And what occurred to me while I'm standing here is that actually personifies so much of what this program is about. So follow the thought for a second. We technically should be running this program in every single public school, private school, every school around the country, every single kid. However, not every single kid is going to value it, appreciate it, and commit to it in the way that people like your mentors and true leaders of today do. So although I would love to look around the room and see quantity, we got 200 kids. Sarah always said to me, this is not a quantity program. This is a quality program. And I'm not saying we can't have 50 kids at some point or 100 kids at some point. We're a small Jewish community. It's per capita. We're good. But at the same time, we're look at our mentors who have accomplished and are still accomplishing so much in their lives. giving up their time, and the fellows, you haven't even started yet, and you're obviously the kind of kids that value putting in energy, putting in time, and the rewards that you'll reap from it. And just from these little interviews and this little showcase of who your mentors are, I would say, I'm good. Like, sign me up. Like, this is, where was this when I was growing up? I mean, yeah, thank God I had a few people to look up to who were some great leaders, but such a program like this that really, really showed us, yeah, there are leaders and mentors out there in the world that care, and they care to mentor you, and they care to give you their time, and they care because they care about the future of you, their children, and their grandchildren. So I think that's an amazing thing to consider. So, Dr. Zedek. So this story, I mean, every story is a story. I get an email from my uncle. Did I not pass to Dr. Zedek? Oh, we did, thank you. How many years ago, Dr. Zedek? 10? I don't know. Yeah. More. All right. I don't know how many years ago. A long time ago. Don't age us both. When we met. So when did you move here? We started, well, 24 years ago. We were downtown. Shame. How many years ago? 17 years ago. 17 years ago. Okay. 17 years ago, I was pregnant with my Chaim. Okay, it was now. That's how I mark my years. Pregnant with this one. So, I was very excited. Anyway, long story short, how does he get to my uncle and how does my uncle get to me? Dr. Murray Zedek was writing a book. His bibliography, autobiography. Too much schoolwork. He was writing his autobiography, and he was looking for the rabbi that bar mitzvahed him. And in searching for the rabbi that bar mitzvahed him, he found my uncle, because my grandfather bar mitzvahed Dr. Zedek. And when he was talking to my uncle, he mentioned, oh, I just moved to downtown Fort Lauderdale. And my uncle said, so did my niece, and they're opening up a Chabad. Anyway, ever since then, it was, I like to say, love at first sight, and his beautiful wife, Lila. And I get to vicariously, my grandfather died very young, he was in his early 60s. If you want to talk about leaders, you want something to blow your mind, and I recommend it to our mentors. They just finished writing a book about my grandfather. The book is called J.J. Haft. That was his name. He lived way too short, but in his short years, there was nothing. I mean, he actually created and pushed the Supreme Court law that allows for a lease time program. That was his. He was friends with every senator, every lawyer, every governor. But aside from that, he was a pulpit rabbi for a few thousand for the Jews as they came in the early, this goes till 9. in the early 1950s. I don't know how old you were. When you had your bar mitzvah, I'm not going to age you.
I was 18,
I know you were 13, but I don't know how many years ago it was. Anyway, so if you want to talk about leaders, maybe we'll bring my dad to speakers. But anyhow, so Murray calls up, we end up forming an amazing relationship, and little did I know that, yes, Murray was in the presence and bar mitzvahed by a great leader, and Murray himself is a great leader, and a phenomenal human being. And even when I called him about mentoring, he was like, oh, I already mentored this and this, and this is what I do. And I was like, how did I know? Like, I just knew Dr. Zedek had all those things under his belt. So I feel a personal connection to you. I feel a little bit of East Flatbush every time we sit together. And I know that you were lucky enough to be part of that congregation and part of my family, and that we can continue to change. So, Dr. Murray Zedek, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Dr. Zedek attended, oh, by the way, he was quoted in my grandfather's book. Because once I met him, I called the author. I said, you gotta talk to him, he remembers 80 from so many years ago. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Dr. Zedek attended Long Island University College of Pharmacy for his BS, for a bachelor's degree, which served as his pharmacist licensure. Upon graduation, he attended the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, graduating with a DO degree. Dr. Zedek led a family practice for 25 years in North Miami as a principal owner of Norwood Medical Clinic, which he designed and constructed. He also served as Chief of Staff, Chairman of Family Medicine, member of the Executive Committee of Southeastern Medical Center, and Director of the Health Planning Council of Miami-Dade County. He was the first DO admitted to the staff of Jackson Memorial Hospital. Dr. Zedek was chair of the Department of Community Medicine at the Medical College that is now known as Nova Southeastern College of Osteopathic Medicine. While in full-time practice, he formed various real estate partnerships, developed land, and built hundreds of homes in South Florida on both coasts with his brother, Leonard, who did our closing for some of the buildings just recently, for the property that we're going to build in Chabad. Dr. Zedek served as chairman of the Broward County Housing Finance Authority and was an active member of Broward Beautiful, an agency of the Broward County government. As chairman of the Allocations Division of Broward Jewish Federation, he was able to direct funds to various Jewish schools and organizations. His real estate interests led him to becoming a member of 4 South Florida full-service community commercial banks and the chairman and founder of 2. Currently, so if you need a loan, currently, Dr. Zedek is retired from medical and direct real estate projects and enjoys passive investment, monitoring, as well as travel, gardening, family adventures, and continued education. He resides with his wife, Lila, in Fort Lauderdale, as well as in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and Sarasota, Florida. Dr. Zedek has a history of mentoring pre-med students and as an informal life coach, looking to continue his activities and share insights with young people in their upward travels. Before I bring up Dr. Zedek, for those who are wondering, just to give you a little time frame, every session is 2 hours. The kids will be here tonight till 9 o'clock. As soon as the mentors finish introducing themselves, parents will be dismissed. And then the kids are here till 9. So once the parents are dismissed, you can go do whatever you want, have a drink, and we don't care, but you're not allowed in the building. And then you can be back promptly at 9 o'clock to get your children. That, understanding that, you'll know that that will also be how it's going to run for each meeting. It's always 7 to 9 prompt, correct?
Without parents.
Without parents. But each time they meet on Thursdays, it will be 7 to 9 prompt. And we were prompt, we started, we'll end prompt. We are on schedule for tonight so far. We're good, and parents will leave soon. So I didn't want to, I apologize if I interrupted your introduction. I just wanted, if anybody, sometimes you're sitting for a long time and they're wondering, and I wanted to be able to get up here and speak well without people being nervous. So, Dr. Margaret.
I have to say that just listening to her brings back a vision of her grandfather. He was a fiery speaker, even in his 20s when he wrote his speech. I mean, sometimes I refer to him as one of these Southern Baptist ministers bringing down the house. I mean, it's not a good connection, actually, but that's how he was. One day when I was in practice for probably 10 years or so, and I had been thinking about writing my biography because I was too busy. You write a biography when you have nothing to do, and I can't seem to finish it, so I must have things to do yet. Anyway, I was coming home from an evening practice. I had 9 hours in North Miami, and I was coming home and just listening to the radio. There were no phones, and there was a man speaking and giving a lecture on actually a Jewish station called WKAT in Miami. And I'm listening to him, and I'm riding home, and I'm thinking to myself, that's my rabbi. He had an amazing voice, which actually she has inherited. And I'm thinking about it, that has to be Rabbi Head. So I pull over somewhere at 7-Eleven or something, and get to a payphone, and I call the station.
They don't know what payphones are. The younger generation, they have no idea what payphones are.
No, I have one. I've had condensed.
Yeah.
With no wires. And I pull over and I call the station and I said, who is that speaking? They say, Rabbi J.J. Heck. And I said, could I leave a message for him? And I did. I left him a message to see if he would remember me. And the last name Zedek is Tzedek. And as the rabbi will tell you, it's the only word in the Bible mentioned twice in consecutive order. So apparently he could have remembered me. I don't know that he did, but he called me. He said he remembered me. And he then wrote me a letter, which I recently found in my papers, and I gave you a copy of a personal letter from him. So the connection, I haven't believed, I'm not going to talk about my bio though, because it didn't sound like me. I didn't know that was me. I think my mother wrote it.
This is what I want you to be, now go do it.
The thing that affects me relative to the pillars in particular is empowerment, which when I was looking for some paper to see what I was going to say, I found this on my desk, and it says, the power of purpose. So what is empowerment really? It has to do with purpose. If you have no purpose, you have no power. And if you want to have power, you must develop a purpose. Intent is everything in life. For me, I've had many excellent mentors. One of them was the founder of the Nova Southeastern University College of Osteopathic Medicine, Pharmacy, and some of the other categories within it. His name was Morton Terry, and I grew up in his shadow. And I actually went to medical school because of him. So my point is, even in high school, which you will understand, I had one teacher. I only remember one teacher in high school that had an effect on me. I don't even know the names of the other people. That one person changed my life because she gave me the feeling that I could do whatever I intended to do. As Golda Meir would say, if you have the will, it is no dream. And so what I would encourage people to have, you must have the will, you must be willing to travel the path to your dream, knowing that you may not end up doing what you planned. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be an architect. Okay? I never accomplished that. I had some skills in drafting and drawing, but somehow the environment, the world, and the rabbi understands this better than I do, will lead you to what you need. And my feeling in life is whatever I need is out there. I have to recognize it. And when I wrote marketing papers for the banks that I was associated with, I did some marketing. And my main comment in front of it,
Use of learning science to drive improvements in the student experience. Mr. Andy Rosen is also the author of Change.edu, Rebooting for the New Talent Economy, which details the history of innovation and incentives in American higher education and lays out a prescription for restoring its preeminence. Bill Gates, writing in the Washington Post, called the book truly important. Rosen is a graduate of Duke University and Yale Law School. He and his wife, Marcelle, a physician, have 2 children and live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay. Well, thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that, Rabbi. First of all, I guess I want to apologize to you all for not being there. I am right now in Baltimore for what's called the investiture of my college roommate as a judge. Now that's one of his really long-term goals was to become a judge, and you know, being able to be here as he's sworn in has just been really meaningful to me. And I have to say that whenever I do something like this, I start to think about the people that I knew when a lot of, when I was the age of some of you. When I met Judge Baranko, I think I'm still allowed to call him Mike, when both of us were 17-year-old freshmen in college. And I think about the people I knew in high school, the people I knew in college, and I've got friends who, are running big companies, and I've got friends who are congressmen or, senior, agency officials in government or in the White House, friends who are making big impact in nonprofits. But I also have friends who've gone to jail. I have friends who have had significant alcohol and drug problems through most of their lives, friends who were estranged from their kids. And whenever I do something like this, I go back and I think, was there anything I could have seen earlier on that would have predicted whether this person was going to end up successful and happy or struggling? And you think, what would be the differentiating features? And what I found is that these things don't sort themselves by SAT score or GPA or the wealth of the family that you grew up in or the college or high school you went to, really, in some ways, if there was an algorithm, it is about people who are purposeful in how they thought about the kinds of things that the Solomon program focuses on. So people who thought and talked in college and in high school about things like character, or tolerance, or persistence, or judgment. When you had people who at age 17, age 18, 19, who were thinking about those things, talking, struggling, pushing, learning about those things, those are the people, for the most part, who ended up with, more successful lives. And so, as I think about this program, and when Deborah called me and asked me to be part of it, the people, you all, the students who are part of this program, are remarkable in that in your busy schedule, with all the things that you've got to do, when you're like a junior in high school is one of the busiest times in your life, you on your own decided that you want to do more, you want to learn more, you want to understand more, and you took it upon yourself to join this program. And so, based on that alone, I know that we have a group of remarkable people. And I know that there are people that I will come to admire as I get to know you. And I can't guarantee that going through this program is going to make you successful in life, but I do think that going through a program like this increases the odds that you'll be successful in life, because the kinds of issues that the Solomon program talks about are exactly the kind of issues that really distinguish between the kind of life that you can feel proud of living and just a life that's lived. And so I wish I were there, but at the same time, I'm really happy that I'm here tonight, because one of the things that I've learned is that, when your friend has something very special and important in his life, you show up. You show up for your friends, you show up for your family, you show up for your communities, you show up for your causes. And it's not just happy occasions when you show up. In fact, even more so, it can be the case that you kind of show up when people need you, when people are having health problems, when they're having relationship problems, even when they're having problems that they cause themselves. Like some of the things I talked about, people with legal troubles or people with drinking problems and so on. Even if they cause it themselves, in some ways that's when they need you the most. They need the people. When others are turning away, it's important to turn towards the people who matter to you. And I guess I say that because I was torn. I wish I could have been there, but I don't have any feeling. And I don't want to claim that I'm great about this. I want to be better, but I aspire to be the kind of person who you can depend upon when necessary. And I'm looking forward to talking about all these issues with you all over the course of the next several months. It's a special program, and just by participating, I know that this is a very special group of people. So, thank you. I'll leave it back as I've been told to do.
Okay.
Thanks. Take care.
Okay, wait, I need to refocus here. Woo, okay. Slide.
We're at sending the parents home.
We are here to help. That's where we are. All right, so this is my email. That is my name if you didn't get it by now. And I'll repeat it one more time. We are here to help. Anything you need, I am here. Don't talk to Deborah, because then she'll think something is wrong, unless something is really wrong. And I'm going to open the floor for questions. Any of you have any questions right now after all the... Yes?
I know it's the intent to not miss any of the sessions, and they all sound really, really amazing. In the event that somebody's sick or they do have a school trip, would they be able to, just so we be able to record the session so that they do have the ability to watch it at some point?
So,
you know, we're all human, so it's not being able to miss. That's why there's like every rule has an exception. So the first foremost is that the homework is still due and due on time. So that's like a given no matter what's going on. And then in specific situations, you speak to Jessie. Every speaker will be recorded, video recorded, so they will be able to, they'll be told to reach out to their mentor in advance and let them know that they won't be there. But of course, that is the exception to the rule. You see the mentors that you have and that are going to be here, and that's why, and the students, there were many students that interviewed even for this specific chapter, that these were the select students that were chosen, and one of the big parts of it was the commitment. So, hope that answers your question.
Okay, awesome. So mostly let us know as much in advance as possible.
I was just saying, like, if you're sick or
So obviously,
because it's a shame to have to miss. I mean, not to like not
Yes.
commit to it, but they're gonna.
Exactly.
I'm gonna think that they're not gonna wanna miss one of the lessons.
But it can happen, and that's why you just communicate. And at that point, I'll add one more important point. So, fellows, your parents are here this evening, but the goal is for Jessie not to speak to your parents at all until graduation, and she won't. We see you as adults. We treat you beyond college level as adults, and so she will be communicating directly with you, and you'll be communicating directly with her. So if something's come up, be in touch with her directly. She's lovely, and she wants to make it work for you. And for the parents also, probably something you're not used to, but our goal is to really have your students, your children step up to the plate, which we know that they can. And so they will be the ones saying, if something comes up, I won't be able to attend, I'm not well, whatever it is, and she'll guide them through that process.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
I know you can direct this to the fellows, and maybe you will later on in the evening, but can you elaborate on the point system? What exactly does that mean? You kind of touched on the point system
Okay.
for the homework.
Yes.
So it's just, it's a college level course. So this is not, when they submit their work is sent to their fellows to look at, to their mentors, to look at, to be prepared for the session. The mentors themselves are preparing the curriculum as well. And so when everyone comes, everyone's already primed and prepped and ready. There's been a lot of work that's been put in. But that same work is what's graded for their college credit. It's a 3 college course credit is a decent amount of work, and so the points, it's just, she's talking
like
about the breakdown of the grades for what's graded with what weight for the college credit. It's not something that Jessica has any control over. It's something that happens through Palm Beach Atlantic University, through head office, but it's something that we can always help with. And if there's an issue, the fellows will receive feedback within the week once they've submitted, and they can always reach out, and we want them to do well. The goal is that this should be something that's only a help in their grade and not something that, God forbid, affects them otherwise. So.
Anyone else? So, we are actually at the point of a little break, so this is the time for you to go to the bathroom, grab something to eat. We'll have 5, 10 minutes. 10? Okay. And then parents, when you're done,